Welcome to the Glam Life Podcast, where we empower and inspire beauty professionals to take their careers to the next level. Your host, Victoria, is a certified business coach with over a decade of experience in the beauty industry, helping countless beauty professionals start and grow successful businesses. Now she's sharing her knowledge and expertise with you. Whether you're just starting out in the beauty industry or looking to take your business to new heights, this podcast is for you, covering topics like community, management, branding, and much more. So join us on this journey to build the beauty business of your dreams.
Hello. Good morning. My name is Victoria Rocca, and I am your host here at the Glam Life Podcast. A little bit about me, if it's our first time meeting. Hi, it's nice to meet you. So if you know me from Instagram, you know me as victoria.glam. And if you don't know me, then get to know me. Let's be friends. Follow me on Instagram at victoria.glam. We can DM there and discuss anything and everything: business, beauty business, marketing, operations, managerial, or anything that you hear on this show that you are interested in. I am a 2 times beauty business owner. I own the Microblading Institute, which is now franchised across 5 different states and counting. We are looking for more affiliate trainers, more affiliate educators. If you've been working in the field for at least 4 years and are interested, DM me over on Instagram. And I also own Brow Sister PMU Products, which is the main sponsor of this podcast. Brow Sister is what makes this podcast available to you for free. So if you guys are, on the market for some numbing, some microblades, primary or secondary numbing, we have a new product coming out soon that also has some numbing to it, but I cannot share that with you yet. If you're looking for microblades, if you're looking for really amazing pigments, we have Biotech on hand. If you're looking for needles, we can sell neon black needles now. We're just ever expanding. Please visit us over at browsister.com. We'll talk a little bit more about Brow Sister later in the episode. But today I want to talk to you about my summer because it's now August. It is August now, and I have had a summer, honey. Let me tell you. So here, if you've gone back through a few episodes, if you've been with me even from the very beginning, and I've talked about this quite a bit, my why is my kids. My why is my kids. And I don't think that that's unique at all. I think that is a very boilerplate answer when people say, why do you do this? Why do you bother owning a business? Why do you bother employing yourself? I think the answer is necessity for motherhood. For so many people, right? And that actually, when I describe my ideal client, Brittany, that's exactly what it is. It is a need to own your time so you can be the kind of mom that you want. And I connect with Brittany so much because that is exactly how I got into this business. I started out in a corporate position, working at a nonprofit. I was a manager there, and I managed my way out pretty quickly because I realized that working on someone else's schedule and having to ask permission to do basic motherhood things was simply not going to work for me. That was not going to be the vibe for me. So instead, I needed to employ myself, and that's what I did. And then it just kind of, I was never looking for a career. I wasn't looking to own and build $2 million brands. That wasn't on my mind. I was just thinking, how do I own my time so that I still have income, but also can be the kind of mom I want to be. I want to be the homeroom mom. I want to be the mom who's there for field trips. I want to be the mom who's there when you're homesick from school. I want to be the mom who gets to spend the whole summer with you. And so by employing myself and setting my own schedule and choosing when I do or do not work, I did exactly that. And I just spent the entire summer at home with my kids. I called it Summer of Suns. We have discussed it here on the podcast. By the way, if I sound really nasally, I have a little bit of a summer cold, which I did get from my sons. So what Summer of Suns looked like for me, a complete addict, a workaholic, is that I would drop them off at daycare and I only scheduled them half day. So they would go from 8 to 11. And so from 8 a.m. until 11:30 a.m., I got to work on my business, fulfill orders here in the warehouse at Brow Sister. By the way, I film or I record this podcast in our warehouse, which is maybe the worst acoustic choice, but it's the best for my mental stability. So you and I are gonna rock out here in this warehouse for at least the foreseeable future. But so anyway, so I would fulfill orders in here. I would record our podcast in here. I would take a couple clients on Tuesdays, and really that's kind of it as far as working goes. Because I've really mastered the ability to dole out, just kind of like delegate, right? So I have Taylor who helps me. She takes an overflow of clients. She helps me with education. She helps me with student supervisions. And then I have franchised. So classes are rolling without me in Mississippi, Illinois, Washington State, Ohio, Florida, Texas soon. So we're doing great, but it didn't necessarily mean life or death if I wasn't going to be here for 8 to 10 weeks this summer. However, both of my sons will be in public school this year, and that's a first for me. I have a 4-year-old going to pre-K and a 5-year-old going to kindergarten. And I know that I'm going to blink and they will forget all about mom. Right now, they're up my ass. They are up my ass. And you love it and you hate it at the same time. You just want them to get away from you. But the mom guilt in the back of your brain is like, there will come a day, not that long from now, when you'll be begging them for hugs and kisses. And they'll be like, Mom, you're embarrassing. Get away. It's gross. You're annoying. So I just dove in head first and I made the plunge. I didn't even look at my books and move things around. I didn't warn anyone. There was no get in now because I'm leaving for the summer. There was none of that. I just said, hey, you know what? I quit my job. I'm not coaching for the rest of the summer. I'm not coaching at all. Maybe I'll see you in the fall. Maybe I won't. I'm not coaching. I'm not doing any speaking engagements. I did the one in Europe at the end of May, but June, July, August, nah, you're not going to see me. I'm not speaking again publicly until September when I'll be in London. So no coaching, no speaking. I'm letting Taylor host all the classes this summer. All I did was back-end work and things that required my face or voice. And from the hours of 11:30 a.m. until bedtime around 10 p.m., I hung out with my kids. And let me tell you something. This is the coolest job ever. This is the coolest job ever. This is the best decision I ever made. Were there times when I wanted to lock my kids out of the house? Yes, of course, because I'm not going to over-glamorize being a stay-at-home mom. I know that that's not a fun thing. That's a hard work thing, right? Because, of course, there's give and take with any kind of job, but that includes being a stay-at-home mom. That means work. It's not just like endless naps and trips to the park. Which, by the way, fuck the park. I hate the park. It's hot. There's hardly anywhere to sit. Random moms want to chat. I don't want to chat. I don't want to fucking chat. I'm watching your kid beat my kid in the middle of a sprinkler in public water. I don't want to chat right now, girl. I want you to go get your kid and yell at him for hitting my kid, because if I yell at him, I'll be the bad guy. But whatever. I'm getting too personal. I'm getting sidetracked. It doesn't matter. I'm projecting. The point is, I understand that it is hard work to be a stay-at-home mom. I know that. And sometimes my friend Mindy would really have to redirect my attention, because boy, were there times when I was like, I feel like I'm floating. I feel like I have no direction right now. I'm a little lost in the sauce with my business. She's like, you're not supposed to be focused on your business. You made that choice. Remember, you're focused on Summer of Suns. So if it feels like your hands off a little bit on the business, if it feels like you're not, tight on the reins, it's because you're not supposed to be. You made that choice a couple weeks ago, and you still got a couple weeks to go. So when you want to come back in September, full force, go for it. But in the meantime, you're focused on Summer of Suns, and I'm not going to contact you after lunch because you're with your sons, and you're going to stay with that. And she really held my feet to the fire and made me stick with that. And I'm so glad that she did. Because let me tell you something. My sons and I went to the beach, and we had just the most amazing, most present time ever. Class still rolled. My sons and I went to their first movie. They got to see The Little Mermaid, and they had the best time. Oh my God, it was the cutest thing. They were so excited when we walked into a practically empty movie theater in the middle of the day, and they saw just a row of recliners. And listen, they're auto recliners. It's a little button you push, right? They could not believe their eyes. They were like, whoa, we can sit in any of these? Sure, babe. Actually, at our movie theater, we have assigned seating. I think it's because someone was unpleasant. Trigger warning. Someone was murdered in not the theater we went to, but one across town. There was just a random. It wasn't like domestic violence or something. It wasn't anything. Just this man was going through it, I guess, and he sat down in the movies, and then he stood up and he shot the lady in front of him. It was terrible. So I have not been back to that movie theater in probably 7 or 8 years since it happened. So I didn't know that they had, jazzed him up like they have. So we're at this other movie theater on our side of town, and it has recliners. They sell blankets at concessions. Coke is $7 for one Coke. That's crazy to me. But, I mean, what kind of Coke is this? $7. Jeez. But whatever. We had the best time. Nothing beats movie popcorn, by the way. And just watching how excited and it was a 3D movie. Oh my God, it was a 3D movie. And it was at 1 p.m. It was at 1 p.m. in the middle of a weekday. And I could have been here, tattooing my 80th brow of the week, or I could have been there soaking up their very first time doing something. And it just so happens that the next week, at like 9 a.m. on a Tuesday, they have those $5 movies. So my oldest son, my 5-year-old, went to the movies with his friends, but he had already been there. So I didn't miss the first. And that really made me feel so proud that I had really stuck to my schedule. I didn't miss that first, Then, we took them bowling. Never been bowling before, so we took them bowling at a really cool place. This place in Lafayette where I live called Surge, and it's like neon bowling, and there's a bar, and they deliver to you. You get a waitress, and there's bowling food, bar food too. My kids thought they were in heaven, and they're demanding that we go back this Friday with all their friends as like a back to school kind of party. So probably do that. My husband joined in because he gets 7 days off. He works 21 and 7. So on his 7 days off, we took them to an arcade. We took them bowling. And watching him be so present and so playful with my kids, of course, that makes you fall so much more in love. But also, you get to watch your kids be so excited about the time that they're spending and the attention that they're getting. And I noticed there was even a change like in their behavior, in their attitudes. So I think that Summer of Suns was great for me, and it was great for them equally, probably. So we got to do all of these different activities together. We go to the pool almost every afternoon, that kind of thing. We got to do so many bonding activities, and we're so much closer now than if I was always like, you know what, I'm exhausted from work, please leave me alone. And really spending probably about 2 hours of quality time in the evening with them before I usher them off to bed and then wake them up and bring them back to daycare. And like, why shouldn't I? That's the whole reason I started the damn business to begin with, isn't it? That's why I started this business to begin with. I started this business with the intent of being the kind of mom I wanted to be. And I actually had to sit down and focus myself and have Mindy remind me, more than once, by the way, hey, Victoria, this was your idea. This is the whole idea. Don't lose sight of the big picture here. Yes, the business serves the family. And it's not hard for me to say, hey, you guys, I got to rearrange my clients. My kid is sick or needs to go to the doctor or whatever. That's not difficult at all, and actually happens quite often, which is why I'm so lenient when clients need to do the same thing. Sure, something's up with your kid, you go to the doctor, dentist, whatever, let's reschedule. I don't care. I really don't care, because they give me that same grace with me and my kids. But baby, let me tell you, the game changer that it was to actually walk the talk and structure not a day when my kids needed me, but a whole 2.5-month stretch around my kids. Oh, first of all, I could never, ever, ever get that in corporate America. They would never say, sure, take 10 weeks off. They would never say that to me. And don't answer the phone if you don't want to. They would never say that to me. Secondly, I got so much insight on my kids of things that I thought I was present before. Whew. I had no idea the things my kids were saying and doing. And I'm not saying that they're being bad or anything like that. Just some of the things that they know, I was shocked that they knew that. Some of their verbiage choices, I was like, how do you know that word? And then I think that they just feel closer, so it's easier for them to communicate things with me also, which isn't that the dream? You want your kids to have that open line of communication and feel like they could tell you anything. So one thing in particular that really just tickled me was my 5-year-old asked me for a menu. He was like, Mom, can I see that menu? Sure. So I handed it to him, and he stared at it for like a full 30 to 45 seconds probably. And then he looked at me and he said, I forgot. I can't read. I was like, I know. I'll read the menu to you. What do you want? He was like, I really just want to learn how to read. So actually now we're doing tutoring sessions. So now that swim lessons are over, I guess our new activity is tutoring sessions because he really wants to learn how to read. And I want to foster that for as long as it's still exciting to him. At 5, going into kindergarten, that's really exciting to him. He's a level 1 reader and he wants to be a fluent reader, and it's still exciting. It still lights him up. He feels the same way about math. And as a former math flunky, fun fact, in college, I could not pass Math 101. So I paid someone to take the class for me at the junior college. And she didn't have to go every single day. Attendance was not mandatory. She was a math major. She just had to show up for the 4 tests. So I paid her $50 a test. And listen, I had already failed Math 101 twice and had to sit out a year from school. So yeah, I really needed the help. And my mom, I know some people are going to be like, why do you get a tutor? Why do you get a tutor? Listen, I tried it. Okay. I went to office hours and everything and whatever. It's just not how my brain works. I'm a big picture person, not a numbers person. I pay a numbers person. I need to make a payment to her actually. But anyway, so this girl wound up taking these 4 tests for me at $50 a pop. And my mom, who I didn't even live with, okay, I was a stripper. I was paying my way through college. I was taking care of myself. My mom figured it out. And she looked at me and she said, if you need any money, let me know. That's how sick she was of me not passing Math 101. So when my son says to me that he loves math and he's so excited, and like my husband's a freaking genius, okay? He made a 99 on the ASVAB. He's the smartest person I know. That is why we are married. Beauty fades, okay? He could be the hottest person on the planet. It wouldn't matter. Beauty fades. Dumb is forever. So my husband is the smartest man I've ever met. Once I met the smartest motherfucker, I was like, that's it. You're the one. Let's do this forever. Knowing that, I was so terrible at it and his dad is so great at it, I knew it was a crapshoot, just like height. I wouldn't date anyone under 6 foot tall because I'm 5 feet tall, 5'0". Nobody respects a short man. Look at Napoleon. He had to murder millions of people and still he's a joke. So I don't want my son to be a mass murderer over in Europe. So I would only date people over 6 feet tall. And even then, crapshoot. I actually think my sons are still going to be short. Maybe like 5'10"ish. Boo. But at least they're not 5'4", All these little Cajun men around here. Cajuns are short. Anyway, I digress. I knew that it was going to be a 50-50 shot. And lucky for me, my oldest is into math. He likes it. It makes sense to him. It's exciting to him. He likes it. So I'm going to foster that. And I have put him in at Sylvan Learning Center. And so in the afternoons at 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock or something like 1 o'clock, I'll be bringing him once a week. And my youngest wants to do it because my oldest wants to do it, right? Again, could I make a weekly commitment at 1 in the afternoon in the middle of a work day? No, I couldn't if I didn't work for myself. So while I thought that I was spending my summer connecting with my sons, I actually was teaching myself a very valuable lesson about kind of staying true to your why. Sticking with your actual goals. It's easy to lose sight of your goal. And it's easy to remember the words for your why. Like, you know how you remember the Aveda motto or pledge or whatever? At Aveda, it's our mission at Aveda to care for the world we live in, from the products we create to I remember it, but I'm not listening to myself when I say it. You know what I mean? I think it's easy for people to say, why did you start your business? And you give them a boilerplate reason, but are you really still operating with that thought in mind? Or is the business kind of starting to run you a little bit more than maybe when you first started? If that's the case, I urge you to reconnect with your why, whatever that was. More me time, more vacations, more ability to travel, being able to pour more money into retirement accounts, whatever it was. I urge you to reconnect with that why before we jump into the chaos. It's really chaos once September starts because the kids are back in school and then it's after school activities and then all these holidays come at us. Boom, 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 boom. And holidays are freaking crazy. family everywhere. And then before you know it, it's spring and everybody's prepping for summer and they're trying to get all these last minute things done before their kids go to summer camp or cheer camp or football camp or whatever, vacations, blah, 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 blah. This is the slow time. This is the time, I think, to sit down and reflect and plan for the year ahead. What kind of holiday season do you want? One filled with family where you're hosting and invite people over and you don't feel rushed, you're not answering the phone, you're not checking your email. If that's the case, reconnect with that part of you now and start prepping, because just as fast as summer ended, the holidays will be here. I promise you. Sounds crazy to be saying in August, but I promise you. Some of you guys know that because some of you are already putting, Christmas gifts on layaway. Some of us are just hyper aware of how fast time slips by and of our commitments in the future too. So let me not discount those of us who are planners. In the meantime, if you haven't figured out what your why is, if you are not sure of what your why is, or if you've lost sight of how to incorporate your why into your current business with the responsibilities you have created for yourself, let's continue this conversation. DM me anytime. Comment on this week's Instagram post advertising this, the one that says like, hey, this is what we're talking about on this week's podcast. Comment on that post and let's keep the conversation going. You can find me over on Instagram at victoria.glam. And of course, please, please, please continue to support browsister.com. Browsister for all of your PMU product needs, especially those for primary or secondary numbing. Also, if you need any information on biotech pigments, DM me. I am more than happy to give you as much information as you want. I love biotech so much, even before we were selling it, that I got rid of everything else in my shop. I threw everything else away and became 100% biotech. It's the only thing in Microblading Institute kits across any state. And it's the only thing that we use in class or on our clients. And because of that, I actually reached out to Francesca Frio, who I met in LA. She is the owner of Biotech, and told her how much I loved her product and that I wanted to start selling it in the US. So we were actually the first distributor in the US. If you have questions about biotech pigments, if you're looking for new pigments, in organic line, please DM me anytime. It's one of my favorite things to chat about. Okay. I will see you guys next week because, you guessed it, I am going to Bluey live this afternoon. I have tickets. So I'm going to go pick up my kids right now, and I'm going to run to this place called the Hyman Center where they're going to have Bluey live. I will talk with you later. Bye.